Another thing that I use the PHP command line for quite a bit is the long-running worker scripts. These are scripts that may be attached to some kind of queuing system. I use Gearman, I use Beanstalk-D, waiting for something to happen and then process jobs and tasks as they become available. So these scripts can run for a long time, but sometimes they can exit. So we've got a situation where we can be running PHP scripts from the command line, but we need a way to deal with them stopping and needing restarted. I made you a little demo script to get us started. Have a look at my slightly trivial script here. All we're doing is initializing a counter, generating a random number between 2 and 7, and then for that number of times looping round, printing a dot and sleeping. After we've done it however many times, then the script will exit and say the word enough. This is just to simulate a script that runs for an unpredictable amount of time and then will exit. So if I run it now, you see we start to get a few dots coming through. Run it again, you get a different number of dots. After a while it'll just exit. There it goes. So you start to get an idea of the kind of thing that we're looking at here. Some people will look after this by perhaps having a cron job that checks if the process is running every so often and then restarts it. But I like to use a tool called Supervisor-D. This is the website for Supervisor-D. It describes itself as a process control system. It is based for Unix-like operating systems, so if you're on Windows, I'm sure other alternatives are available. And there are a few other options. You can oversee things with Upstart if you prefer. I tend to use Supervisor-D, so that's what's in this example. So with Supervisor, what we do is we configure Supervisor to look after a particular job. If I show you the config settings that I have for this particular job, it's this one. All I need to say is please run the following command, which is the path to the supervise me script, and you specify auto start should this program start when supervisor starts, and auto restart should it restart if it exits. So I have the auto restart set to true so that if supervisor observes my script exiting, it will restart the script. So this is all already set up in Supervisor. All I need to do now is hit the Supervisor control panel and ask it to start my PHP CLI example script. So we can see it started, and if I run the status, you can see it's running, uptime 2 seconds. It's starting again. If I keep running status, you can see the uptime counting up, and then it's starting again. So Supervisor is running my script, observing that it has exited, and running the script again. If we check the logs for that job, like this, then you can see as it goes along, we're running a random number of dot repeats, then enough, and it exits, Supervisor restarts the script, and it will carry on doing this indefinitely. If you're writing worker scripts that need to be long running, in PHP, we're not necessarily well set up for that. Things will go wrong, your script will die at some point. You will need to restart when you deploy changes. And sometimes it can be easier to just put something's gone wrong in the middle of your script, particularly if you're dealing with queues of some kind. The easiest thing is just to exit your PHP script, put the job to the back of the queue, and hope that things work better the second time around. This can get you past things like incidental network glitches on a non-time critical job. I think using PHP from the command line, particularly in this context, if you have a PHP application which is adding jobs to a queue, it makes sense to use the same skills to write the worker scripts to consume it. So those will run from the command line, and you can oversee them with Supervisor.